Today was rather busy, so this upload is coming a little late. Anyway, Wolfman is a 2025 supernatural horror film written and directed by Leigh Whannell. It stars Christopher Abbott, Julie Garner, and Matilda Firth. It came out in the month of January this year, which seems to be a bad time for horror to come out due to how often they flop during that time. Could the same be said for this movie? Let's find out. The plot of this film revolves around a man named Blake Lovell, played by Abbott, a normal, everyday man who just learned of the recent passing of his father, played by Adam Jaeger. Because of his shaky relationship with his father, he doesn't really know how to react to any of it. So, anyway, he decides to take his family to his old house to help pack up his father's belongings. On their way there, however, they encounter a mysterious creature covered in fur, a creature that walks on two legs. This creature causes them to flip over their vehicle, but they are able to get out and evade the creature before they get back to the house. That's when Blake notices a scratch on his arm. He believes he might have scratched it on the broken glass in the car, but is in the vehicle, their car, but his increasingly disturbing behavior suggests that it might not be the case at all. As intriguing as this premise is, they don't really do anything with it. It takes a long time for the story to get going, and I also wish the relationship between Blake and his father was explored a little more, especially since they treat it like it's such an essential element to Blake's character but barely even touch on it. Decent premise, but I wish more had been done with it. I give the premise a C+. Next is acting. This is probably one of the few highlights of this movie. The acting from Chris Abbott is when he's transforming into a werewolf is actually surprisingly scary and somewhat sad. He does a great job at making his character seem really ferocious due to the transformation while also making you actually feel somewhat heartbroken about it. You can tell he does not want this to happen, but is unable to resist the urges that come with said transformation. And the fact that he and his family can't do anything to stop it only makes it more saddening to watch. The acting from his family also adds amazingly to this, and I think part of that has to do with how well the relationship with his family was established, so it makes scenes like this hit even harder. But damn, the emotion that Garner and Firth put into these moments is so good that it almost makes you want to cry with them. Even during the non-emotional scenes, they were still able to create a performance that made it feel all very authentic. Like this is an actual family you are watching. But holy shit, are the more intense/tragic moments amazing when it comes to the acting. I give acting a B+. I really was impressed by it. Next is cinematography, which was alright. I don't mean that in a bad way, but there wasn't a lot of shots in the movie that, aside from the very first few scenes, that made me go, damn, that looks amazing. But for the most part, the framing is decent, but I kind of wish wider lens were used for some scenes, since that would have done a great job of showing just how quiet and isolated it is in the woods. The wide lens would show just how big they are, which I feel would have helped emphasize just how isolating their situation truly is. I mean, they're literally in the middle of nowhere, so that would have been a great way to show it. I also kind of have to nitpick the lighting, since there were some moments where I could not tell at all what I was looking at due to how dark some scenes were. I give cinematography a C+. Not bad, but it definitely could have been better. Next is special effects, and they were actually not that bad. The way they showed Blake's transformation was very gradual, but that in a way helped it, since it actually made it feel believable. They don't show him transform into the monster right away. They slowly show him changing more and more, so it actually did help to make his transformation into this hideous beast more believable. Not much else to say, but holy shit, the makeup team did a great job of turning Blake into something totally unrecognizable. I give special effects a B+. Also, I meant to add, my voice might sound a little weird since, I'm using a slightly different mic, so that might be where it's coming from. Finally, directing. As much as I loved Leigh Whannell's direction on The Invisible Man, the direction in this movie definitely could have been much better. As I said before, the execution could have been so much better, and it takes a long time for the supernatural threat to come into play. And even when it does, you barely get any scenes with it. I know they were probably trying to do the Jaws thing, where you don't see much of the monster until the climax, but I feel like more scenes where the monster is not in sight but definitely present were needed to help build up that moment. Like have scenes where you cannot see it but its presence is shown through maybe growling sounds off in the distance and heavy footprints so that it can build up anticipation, and the scene where it finally shows up hits you a little more. Once it actually does show up, the film actually paces along decently, but holy hell does it feel slow at times. I give directing a C-. Not bad, but Leigh Whannell has definitely done better when it comes to his directing skills. Overall, Wolfman is not really all that special. For the most part, it is pretty mid and somewhat slow in some areas. For a January release, it is alright, but I just wish more had been done with it. I honestly feel like a 2-hour runtime would have helped since there was so much in the film to explore. I give Wolfman a C+. It managed to keep me engaged, but I just wanted more from it. Well, 131 nights down, 30 more to go. Can't believe I've been doing this for 8 years already, holy shit. Anyway, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and sub for more content.